Thank you, everybody, and it's wonderful to be here. Thank you very much for your very kind reception. Each January, normal people mark their calendars with anniversaries and birthdays. I highlight the date of NDI's annual lunch. And why not? The cause we celebrate each year has never been more important. The stories that we share are inspiring, and we're surrounded by friends, both old and new. And this lunch gives us a chance to say thank you. And I will begin by expressing my gratitude to Bren Simon for not only her kind words, but for her amazing leadership within NDI. Bren, you really are a fantastic NDI board member and a very, very treasured friend to me. I enjoy our friendship more than I can tell you, and I thank you very, very much for everything that you do. I also want to express my thanks to Ambassador Hattie Babbitt, whose experience as a diplomat and an advocate, especially within our hemisphere, has made her a vital contributor to NDI, and our friendship is very dear to me, and I'm delighted, Hattie. Thank you for all your work. And our president, Ken Wallach, and Vice President Sherry Bryan, there truly is no better team anywhere in terms of leadership for an important piece of work. So to both of you. In time of constant strain, what Ken and Sherry have done is kept us true to our mission of support for democratic institutions and values, and we're grateful to them and to NDI's incredible staff and partners across the globe. We're grateful as well to have had a chance a little earlier to honor the trailblazing efforts of Laura and her colleagues. I think that it is an amazing amount of work that they have done, because we saw the video, but also I found so interesting in our discussions that in Mexico they seem to have a lot of women, or more women, at the federal level than at the local level. I find that a very interesting kind of conundrum, and it'll be wonderful to be supportive of this group. We're delighted this afternoon to welcome from area high schools a group of future legislators, cabinet secretary, and yes, presidents, who have joined us to highlight the essential role that women must play in public life. And I ask those students to stand. They are from Cesar Chavez and Friendship Charter School, St. Timothy's, Washington International, and the National Cathedral School. Great. Thank you. Thank you all for joining us today. Finally, we're pleased to say hello again to some special members of NDI's family. Like any institution, NDI has had good days and bad days, but the very worst was in January 2007, when NDI's own Andy Parhamich was killed in Iraq by terrorists. Shortly after that tragedy, we established a fellowship in Andy's name to help carry on her work. And that fellowship is given annually to an NDI partner or staff member who's engaged in strengthening democracy in our own country. And I'm happy to announce that the recipient of the 2013 award is Hodan Ahmed, a senior program officer in Somalia, where the democratic challenge is daunting, but the participation of women is increasing, thus providing an important platform for future progress. And I hope you will join me in saluting Ms. Ahmed, for whom we will hear a little bit later, and in recognizing as well the representatives of the Parhamich family who are with us today, including Andy's parents, Vicki and Andre, her sister Marcella, her brothers Chris and Corey, and her nieces Kayla and Abby. We honor you. This afternoon as we meet, the principles to which NDI is dedicated are being tested. And in the words of E.J. Dionne, there is, across much of the democratic world, an impatience bordering on exhaustion with electoral systems and political classes. In the Middle East, newly elected leaders are struggling to clean up the mess left behind by autocratic regimes. Throughout Europe, the financial crisis continues to cause stress within democratic institutions. In Germany, when citizens were asked whether they could influence national policy by voting, the percentage saying yes was 0. Almost everywhere, new technology has made it simpler for the public to express anger, but no easier for governments to solve problems. This has caused some to proclaim that democracy is destined to fail, to which I can only respond with a diplomatic term of art, balderdash, or another one. Governing in a wireless world is hard, but popular discontent is as much an issue in centralized China and autocratic Russia as it is in Italy or Greece. And if democracy is dying, what is it that initially gave life to those Arab revolutions? What caused the voters of Pakistan to achieve this month the first transition from one civilian regime to another in their country's history? What if not the idea of democracy sustained Aung San Suu Kyi and her followers for more than 20 years and is now transforming Burma from a police state into a free one? And what if not the desire to shape their own destinies has caused women on every continent to become a dynamic force for democratic growth? Whether locally or globally, forward movement must often take place on a step-by-step basis. And in building democracy, the involvement of women is indispensable. And that's why NDI's priority in countries from Central America to Central Asia has been to help democratic women to organize and advocate reforms, amend constitutions, run for public office, and hold their leaders accountable. Month by month, week by week, we are making a difference, and so each day more women are moving into positions of authority. And this matters because we have learned that when women are empowered to make our own political and economic choices, the chains of poverty can be broken, families are strengthened, the spread of sexually transmitted disease slows, environmental stress is reduced, and socially constructive values are more likely to be passed on to the young. The pessimists are wrong to predict democracy's decline because democracy's potential has just begun to be explored. And there's no better way to discover what free people can do than by pushing aside the barriers of discrimination that have held half the world back and by creating space for women to participate, compete, and lead. NDI's longtime mantra is that building democracy is not an event, but a process demanding the leadership of people from all sectors of society. That process is neither exclusively top-down nor bottom-up. It's more like a plant rooted in the earth but fed by sun and rain from the sky. In the same way, freedom begins at the local level, but the story of one success can have a global impact depending on how and why and to whom the tale is told. It so happens that our keynote speaker this afternoon is a genius at telling stories. Through the medium of film, she captured the drama in Liberia as women almost literally beat swords into plowshares, mending a torn country and then setting it free. Abigail Disney wears many hats, but with a single purpose of helping women to protect their families, build their societies, and make their voices heard. Through her films and other projects such as the Peace is Loud initiative, the Daphne Foundation, and the Global Fund for Women, Abigail Disney is one of those rare people, a dreamer, but also a doer, and we are delighted to have her with us today. So please join me in welcoming our keynote speaker, the remarkable Abigail Disney.